pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you all remain standing, take a moment of silence for all men and women who are protecting us, keeping us safe. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting from August 30th minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Legislator Klein, second by Legislator Emmons. Any addition, deletion, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. First one, PS1, resolution accepting funding from the Oswego County ATV Club. This is the amount of $1,000. Motion by Legislator Chesborough, second by Legislator Mangano. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. PS2, resolution budget modification for the Sheriff's Office. This is insurance recovery in the amount of $5,367.44. Motion by Legislator Emmons, second by Legislator Mangano. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. PS3, budget modification. This is for Operation Stone Garden. This is in the amount of $205,000 for the Sheriff's Office. Motion by Legislator Klein, second by Legislator Mangano. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. PS4, resolution budget modification. This is for Marine Patrol Grant Program, the Sheriff's Office, the amount of $80,000. Motion by Legislator Chesborough, second by Legislator Emmons. Discussion.
Yes.
Legislator Klein.
What, this $80,000 from the sheriff is for the marine or our boats or whatever. We don't cover the rivers, do we?
Yeah,
I've never seen a Oswego County sheriff on the United River ever. Once in a while, the Onondaga County.
which portion of, well, we do, right from Monroe Lake all the way down.
From the Collinois Dam down to back where it comes down by Lot 24.
That's not part of, that's the channel. Very little traffic on that, so we wouldn't be on that part of it. It's not the channel, it's just through the dam. But most of the river traffic goes from the north side of the dam up to the lake, and then between Phoenix and Fulton, or Fulton to like Paddle Fest, events like that, we come south of there.
No, I'm just curious because I've never, and it's not that it's needed. I mean, there's a few people that drive quickly, but there's enough stuff that floats in the water, slows them down. Just curious what we do with it. You know, I know you're out there in the lake, and we have a majority.
No, there's a good amount of time spent on the river from the dam up. If we have one of the boats is moored there in that marina, so they would have to take it out. Unless there's a specific need, we're not gonna pull the boat out,
No, I
travel it
get it.
down, or go through locks. And a good portion of this summer, the locks were shut down, so they couldn't anyways. If there's a specific event going on, they'll do that. They'll go through the locks and kind of river. Other than that, they go where most of the issues are, and most of that's up around the lake, or Lake Ontario, one of the two.
Okay, thanks.
Any other discussion? All in favor of PS4 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. Next resolution is a budget modification. This is accepting money from dishes and DOT and a bunch of different organizations. This is in the amount of $5,172. Motion on that
So
from
moved.
Legislator Emmons, second from Legislator Klein. Discussion. Legislator Mangano, do you have a discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. PS6, this is a budget modification accepting a grant for the Homeland Security and Emergency Services Grant. This is the amount of $166,445. Motion by Legislator Greco, second by Legislator Trudell. Discussion. All of them are listed there. I thank Kathy and her crew for putting together that good list for us. We're using as much as we can in-house. That we have legal obligations that we have to give some of it away. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. PS7, this is a budget modification for E911. This is for optometry, moving money within the budget, $65,470. Motion by Legislator Mangano, second by Legislator Emmons. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. PS8, this is authorizing the chairman to enter into an agreement with Intrado for the E911 system for the upgrade of the project. Motion on this by Legislator Mangano or Greco, second by Legislator Emmons. Discussion. Legislator Trudell.
Can you take somewhat of an explanation on it, so I can take that back to what's the total, 1 million, so over $1 million?
Yeah, over a 7-year period.
This enters into the contract of it. This doesn't move the money.
Correct, yes. So the initial funding is the $500,000 capital project that we created. So that's the year one costs. And then from there on out, the following 6 years would be included in the 911 budget, like the current maintenance costs currently are.
All right, so the half, the 500,000 for the first year, what's that include?
That includes all of the hardware, covers the 2 new servers and new phone positions, so the keyboard, the interface box, the actual PC, it's a PC, but the actual hardware that does the computer portion of the phone system itself, and then the monitors.
Okay, so it's a whole replacement.
Complete replacement, yep, right from the ground up.
Is it completed?
It's not completed, no.
Very good, thank you.
Legislator Greco has a question.
Hey, Kev, the travel expenses for training and refresher training, where are we traveling to?
We're not traveling, they're traveling to
Oh,
us.
so we're paying them to travel, okay,
Correct.
that makes sense then, okay, gotcha.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. PS9, this is execution of a lease agreement regarding, is this correct? This one says the city of Oswego, East 11th Street.
Correct, with Dish Wireless.
Remember there was did you solve that issue? Okay. All right, this is the standard agreement that we've been using for these. The director put these new terms together, and it's really helped us. And I'll entertain a motion on this.
So
Legislator
moved.
Evans, second by Legislator Klein. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. Next one is another one of those same lease agreements. This one is to rent space to the FBI. Motion on this.
Yeah.
Legislator Klein, second by Legislator Greco. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. All right, that's it for our resolutions. Next one I have is establishing salary for full-time district attorney. This is establishing the salary of $81,089 and moves it on to FP for approval. Motion on that. Motion by Legislator Greco, second. By Legislator Emmons, discussion. Legislator Klein.
And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. What are other counties around us paying for that, John? For example, Cayuga, Jefferson, and Onondaga.
We're commensurate with those other counties. It's really going to depend upon experience. 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, when I brought in 2 ADAs from Onondaga County, we brought them in basically the step that was closest to their then salary, so that we're keeping parity. This individual's working for a public defender's office right now out in Yates County, and they would actually be taking a little bit of a decrease in pay to come here for this position. But this amount of money is commensurate with their qualifications, their experience. It's both a former prosecutor and a defense attorney, their years of experience as an attorney doing litigation.
Somebody coming from Yates County,
Yes.
which is quite a lot more wealthy county. Did they give you any particular reason why?
And not to get into particular, I mean, dissatisfaction with their current job. They're not with the DA's office out there now, but again, and liked being a prosecutor and liked the idea of coming back to this side of the table and wearing the white hat, so.
Okay, so we have the motion on the floor and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Stands approved. All right, thank you. Moving on to reports now, EMO and EMS. Was Kathy gonna, I know she was gonna try, should I move her, or do you wanna go, or what? Now you tell me.
I can go. We're not really sure how long.
Yeah.
Kathy's
So,
on a
Kathy-
briefing for FEMA for our exercise tomorrow, and the woman presenting had 34 slides that she was starting off with. So we're not sure how long.
She's still on slide 2. But anyway.
So I don't mind giving, talking to the report if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
So, as mentioned, tomorrow is our, the beginning of our FEMA exercise, one of 2 this month. So tomorrow, all this week FEMA is in town. Tomorrow will be our EOC dose assessment, field teams, et cetera, down at the Emergency Operations Center. And then later this month will be the reception center in Syracuse at the Fairgrounds. So a lot of preparation going on up to this. Director Palmitesso has been throwing a lot of curveballs and she's handled them really, really well. So we're looking forward to good results on Friday. We did, in preparation for this exercise, provide 2 days of Emergency Operations Center training we have a lot of new partners that are playing in roles they haven't played in before. That was received really, really well. At the end of that exercise, or at the end of the training, we ran them through a mock exercise where they got to see how their part fits into all the other parts that are happening and moving, and they really enjoyed it. The majority of the feedback was that they wanted it to be longer. So in all of my years of being in education, I rarely had somebody say, I wish you had kept us for longer. So we do plan on continuing that on a yearly basis, more along those exercise components. As far as EMS is concerned, we did get our current medical director contract signed. I was able to meet with him and we're getting him up and running right now. We do have the RFP out for next year. Hopefully we'll bid on it.
When do we expect that back? Will that be in by January so we can enter into that in January and everything?
October 28th, I believe, is the deadline, so we can make a decision and bring it to December's meeting.
In case there's possible budget impact.
So there isn't.
So there isn't.
Yeah. Most recently, we have seen a lot of hospital diversion. Previously, sometimes we would hear from upstate hospital that they were going on diversion, meaning they were getting full, but we're seeing state-issued diversion, which means that EMS providers have to take them to another hospital. They can't just say, that's my request. So Onondaga University is going on diversion daily. A couple weeks ago, we had all 4 Syracuse hospitals on diversion. Obviously, when they do that, they either have to go outside of our county or they come to us to go help. So we are seeing a lot more of that. And our medical director said it's not just COVID, it's pre-existing conditions that haven't necessarily received the care that they needed over the last couple of years that are now exacerbated and now they're turning into significant issues. So, and lots of traumas, ATV accidents with no helmets, etc. So, we are seeing some unprecedented times in EMS. That's all.
All right, Legislator Trudell.
I have one question on radiological preparedness under bullet 6.
Mhm.
We have radiological emergency preparedness, emergency work with ongoing with COVID-19 precautions and plans in place. Does COVID-19, and that's the only one where you've got that specifically delineated as being a portion of it. So I guess the question is, has COVID made any change in how we react to radiological emergencies?
Yes. So, hello. So actually, we are in EMS as well as radiological, keeping some of those COVID precautions, masking, hand sanitizer, et cetera, during training, just extra disinfecting of material. And then as far as our radiological planning, we do have masks, hand sanitizer, et cetera, available for the fairgrounds if we needed to go there. We did have a meeting this week with the Red Cross to look at what their current procedures and protocols are as well. And they have protocols in place if somebody would need to be evacuated. They're being asked to call a specific number if they're under quarantine or isolation so that we can provide them separate transportation and take them to a separate entrance at the reception center so that they can be screened individually.
It just seems like we do that regardless of whether it's radiological or some other emergency.
If we needed to evacuate, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, our radiological required training prepares us for a lot of all hazards things. So, you know, we're forced to think of some of those things right now, but we can apply them in any situation.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Legislator Chandler.
Well, when you said that if somebody's under quarantine, they have to call another number, are we giving that number to everybody that gets under quarantine right now?
So if there was an emergency and we had to evacuate, that number would be publicized in our news releases.
Okay, so we're not like, somebody gets quarantined today, okay? And it's not like an ongoing thing. Okay, I was just kind of curious if you were telling people as they get quarantined, if we have a problem, this is the number you call. You can't go to the usual.
No, that number comes directly into the EOC, to special facilities. So unless EOC is activated, that number, that'll just ring endlessly.
And we do have a list of everybody that's in quarantine anyways, or ordered quarantine, so we could have access to that to reach out to those people. if need be, too.
Okay, that was my kind of question.
So,
Very often the FEMA and the state drills are played as under current real conditions. Is tomorrow's drill played as pandemic is
Yes.
part of this and all the PPE and everything is, so that's something we gotta keep in mind as
Yeah.
we make decisions tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's why, even in the news release in regards to transportation, that's in the news release as well, that all transportation is required to have masks right now, so that will be in place as well. It's in transportation.
Thank you.
Weather conditions, school conditions, all real, as if it was happening today. So schools are in session. That's why we keep track of when they're remote, because that's something we have to consider too. They're all in session right now, which is good. So that makes it a little more havoc with transportation.
It's just you've got more and more kids that are in quarantine now under the schools.
Yep.
okay, any other questions for EMO or EMS? All right, moving right along then, we're going to probation. He had an appointment today, he's been excused, his report's there. If you have any questions, please reach out to David on that. 911.
So, before we're submitted, we're still seeing increase in incidents, increase in calls. That's why about 3/4 of the way down, just under the calls answered within 10 seconds. You'll notice that that's 79.57% this past month. But I wanted to throw in the push talks from 2020 of August against 2021 in August. You'll see that we have a significant increase in radio traffic there, which means our dispatchers are a lot busier. And since the dispatchers are busier, they're not able to pick up calls, which is compounding our issue of not being able to answer calls within 10 seconds, being above 90%. Also, I mentioned last month that we're starting to see a little bit of a personnel issue, and that's become more of an issue over the past month. We're down now 6 full-time employees, 2 part-time employees, and there's a rumor going around that we may be losing an additional. So if that's the case, we'll be down 7, which is an entire shift of people. 3 out of my 4 shifts at that point will be a minimum. So next month I'll be coming back asking for more overtime money, because the only way we have to fill holes when somebody's sick or takes vacation is through overtime. So just a little bit of a heads up there. As far as activity for me in August, pretty much everything was in there. I did attend state interop board meeting in Albany, and we did do interviews for supervisor and senior telecommunicator. So we have promoted both positions. So that is opening up another telecommunicator position, but it's just shuffling people around a little bit. So trying to get the leadership positions filled again. So beyond that, we've started reprogramming radios in the north end of the county, because Jefferson County went live on their radio system at the end of August. So we did some training with Sandy Creek, Pulaski, and Lacona to fire departments to bring them on to the Jefferson County radio system, which is connected to ours, and give them access to that and go from there. So,
Well, we'd also like to congratulate you on being elected the vice chair of the 911 Coordinators Association for the state. So we have all the power now.
thank you. So that did happen last week, so appreciate that. Thank you.
How's the employee out? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, legislator. Greco.
How's the employee outlook? I mean, it was pretty dire last time, right? You had 4 people on the list and some of them didn't want the job.
We've gone through, and I guess I failed to mention that also, we did interviews also for telecommunicator. And out of the current list and the new list that we received, we were able to interview, we set up interviews for 5. One person canceled before we took the interview. One person was not a viable candidate. And then when we offered to the 3 people that we had left, one of them declined. So we're hiring 2 people for all the positions that we currently have open. So I don't have another list that'll probably be available until at least the end of next May, early June, which is a problem. So we're looking at possibility of some provisional hiring. We're also starting to reach out to some past employees to see if we can at least try and fill a couple part-time positions that we do have available to us, because things are getting pretty tight and we're getting ready to go into the holidays. So.
Okay. Legislator Chesbro. Legislator Black.
I think you answered my question, but then when you said that you've got so many openings and another ones, could be going, they're moving to different jobs, or is it that they're sick?
Moving to different jobs.
Okay, it is that, that's, okay.
Legislator Klein.
Yeah, Kevin, you mentioned, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, reaching out to the retirees,
Yes,
trying to get some of those people to come back part-time.
correct.
Are we paying them what they were making? Other industries are doing the same thing and they're not paying the people what they were making before and they're not coming back. That's the bottom line.
That's a good question. We haven't had anybody say yes yet.
Attorney Mitchell has his hand up.
Retirees in the state system would be limited as to their earnings, a certain cap under, I think it's 211 of the Retirement Social Security law. Don't quote me, but I think it's 35, 37, something like that.
After 65, though.
Yeah, so I mean, depending on when they retired, their age,
Or anything.
yeah. So I mean, there may be caps on what they can earn, is what.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
They would get
if it was
paid,
$35,000, Rich, we can say, okay, we want you to work 6 months.
they get paid up to the cap
Yeah.
without a
Unless
problem,
you're
is what I'm
elected.
saying, where that's applicable.
So we're kind of still stuck between the stone and the hard place. And I haven't got my budget funding. What is the starting whatever you call it?
Telecommunicator,
Telecommunicator rate?
currently started at $17.51.
So we're barely with McDonald's.
You can get a job at McDonald's and make more money than you can at that.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah.
Don't get as good as a headset to wear. Anybody else? Anyone else? All right, moving right along here. Fire coordinator. Laws, welcome to your first public safety meeting. Go easy on you, maybe.
Start, I apologize about last month, I wasn't here, I was just getting my feet wet, so sorry about that. What I presented was the actual calls up until the end of September, the 20th. The first 2 numbers have increased since then. That's what's there. We completed 7 classes at the training facility. We've got a couple coming up going into November. Following into that, the new plants just finished up a 3-week class. We've got a couple more weeks out to the facility before our building is closed for the winter. Part-time staff openings, we got 2 fire instructors and 2 SFIs. They're working with the state to get the 2 SFI state fire instructors replaced. One was a resignation due to timing, and the other one, the other individual is moving out of state. Grants, the tower grant, I'll be working on getting an updated quote, and that was submitted in the 2022 capital project budget. And then the hazmat emergency plan money for 2019 we spent in June on hazmat IQ training. I'll be scheduling battalion meetings with the departments in the next month and a half, hopefully to get them done before winter. Looking at the qualifications, with me being hired as the county fire coordinator, it opens up a deputy fire coordinator position in Battalion 1, so that'll be like the Continental, Phoenix, and everything west of the river, Granby, Cody, those departments in that area. Looking at the job qualifications, we're going to try to bring that in line with the state's best practices. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the qualifications of individuals and putting that in writing. So I'm working with personnel on updating that. The United Lake Rescue Plan, got a meeting coming up. Kevin, is that usually something?
That's something you schedule.
Okay.
Got it.
Lot of
I'll be there for you,
questions.
but I can help you with that.
Just ongoing things. Since I've been, it's been a short time, I've made a lot of notes, taken a lot of information, listening to some of the concerns within the office. So I'm working on looking at making some changes, nothing major, just basically trying to streamline how things are done a little easier. We go over our policies and procedures. That's pretty much it. The rest kind of falls under part of that stuff. So my question to you, the committee, is what else? One thing that was mentioned in one of my interviews was more information brought back. What information does this committee, or what are they looking for compared to what was given to you in the past?
What you have given to us is pretty good. The question is, how much they're talking to you offline too. I mean, we're continuously talking to you quite a bit. Don had a good system of what he gave to us and everything. Of course, this whole committee is always invited to Fire Advisory Board as well on that Monday evening. So usually it's been falling to my vice chairs to do that. I don't know what's going to happen next year, who's going to be sitting in this chair or what, but due to my duties as majority leader, I've always sent my vice chair. It's just meetings for me. So, but no, definitely keep in touch with the committee that way if there's something going on in our districts. And don't worry, this committee's not afraid to pick up the phone and call. We're all pretty seasoned legislators. So, okay. Anybody else have any questions? Legislator Trudeau.
The deputy coordinator vacancy.
Yep.
It's vacant.
It's
Is it vacant now?
Yeah. I'm kind of just doing both jobs because that was my battalion as a deputy. And then when I got hired as the coordinator, we haven't filled that. So I'm looking at rewriting qualifications. Once that's done, put it out to the battalion, and then look and do an interview and resume submission.
Well, I think with the question on that, it might be a good opportunity for you to work with either Vice Chair Greco or Legislator Trudell, who had some success in that. I don't know how long it's going to go, but probably working with one of them if you're changing any job descriptions to keep a kind of a liaison with the committee to make sure that the committee knows exactly what's going on.
I can share with you
They'll do a
guys
good job to keep us informed.
later on.
We don't need to get too far into the weeds of the whole thing, but we just need to make sure that somebody from the committee is aware of what's going on.
Well, my plan was to bring that back to the Fire Advisory Board once I had everything written down. People that have worked with the state know that their stuff isn't always in black and white. They allude to something, but then, so that's what I've been doing, comparing their classes to their descriptions, and just trying to come up with a certain, so.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
I know search and rescue's not here in the report, but SAR had sent out, I'm not sure, an invitation to some.
Everybody on the committee got an invitation
Okay.
to their, is it a dinner or just a reception?
I think it's kind of like a reception.
It's October
17th at Selkirk. They just wanted to know if anyone was planning on attending or not. They just.
We'll have Chanel and the Betsy follow up with
Okay.
the committee and go from there. then.
Okay. That's all I wanted to do.
All right, perfect. I do know we have a resolution too, don't we, for search and rescue already did. Or no, a proclamation, excuse me. Okay, if there's nothing more for the committee, I will take a motion to enter into executive session to discussions regarding proposed, pending, or current litigation.
So
Motion by Legislator Klein, second by Legislator Emmons. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're in executive